Good morning, ladies. Oh, there's a gentleman, I'm sorry. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen here. Welcome to Forget Being Forgotten. I'm Lauren Young, and I have the esteemed pleasure of being the CEO and founder of Freshly Baked Communications. It's a creative branding and marketing agency based in Chicago, Illinois, where they haven't quite gotten the memo on spring yet because it's still snowing. So very happy to be out here today. I'll give you all of my contact information from the beginning so that you have that available. But I'm sure you came to this conference because you want to learn a little bit more about social media. Either you're a novice at it or you just want to learn more tactics on how to use it effectively. So if you went to any of the sessions yesterday, you probably heard a little bit about some apps that you've never used before, ones that you can use to curate original content, which is great. But I'm sure there's one question nobody has answered for you yet, and that's how you come up with the original content. You have to write something that no one has ever seen before, no one has ever encountered, but how do you come up with that among all of the other business executives?
Excuse us. Pardon us.
Okay.
So if you're still wondering, how am I going to come up with creative content? It's going to be a challenge. I don't know if I have time to do this. The answer is you already have all of this information hardwired into your brain, and you may not even know it. So that's good and bad. So the activities we're going to do today and the competitions that we're going to do are going to unlock that information from your brain so you know how to best create content for any social media profile that you want. I didn't catch your name in the teal over here. Yes, Jill. Jill, I overheard you saying that I'm fine not being on Twitter. And that's perfectly fine. So I'll show you a couple of ways how you can unlock some creative ideas for profiles not Twitter. So you should enjoy that. Oh, we have some more. Come on in.
Sorry for late.
Come on in.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi.
So before I get into some more information on how to unlock the information from your brain, I want to give you a little bit of background on myself so that you know how I am the expert at this. Okay. So anyone else here a small business entrepreneur? Yeah, so we all wear a couple of different hats, right? Probably missing a bunch of emails being here today, but it's going to be worth it. So I wear primarily 3 hats right now. I'm a CEO, I'm an author, and I'm also an educator. I founded my company in 2008 after a layoff, which I'll get into a little bit later. And very quickly, I tapped into a resource base in the Chicagoland area that was without creative content writing. And that allowed me to grow my business very quickly. And reach out to small as well as large businesses that needed creative content writing. This was one of my proudest moments. In 2011, I was given an Entrepreneurial Excellence Award by the 3rd largest newspaper in Chicago, and I was sharing the stage with people who have been doing this 25 plus years. So I was a little shocked. I didn't think I was ready for something like that, but the impact that I've been able to make through content creation, social media creativity warranted that award. So I'm going to try to keep living up to that now. I'm also an author. That was my goal. So when you are in school and they ask you, who do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to do? I always said an author. And some of my teachers looked at me like I was a little crazy because they would say, don't you want to be a nurse or a doctor or a teacher? I'm like, no, I want to write a book just like these. And I did. Also, at the end of 2011, I published my first book, Poor Marketing Success Starts with the Right Ingredients. It's actually part of a series of 4 books. Stir is the second one that came out in October that's sitting up here. So the series is Pour, Stir, Watch, and Serve. The 4 stages of baking, as well as the 4 stages of building a really creative brand. And all of the books are under 100 pages, so you can get through them in a train ride, a plane ride, wherever you're going, and apply it very quickly to your business. And then finally, I'm an educator. So I love doing conferences like these, small, intimate conferences. From here to the Bahamas, I've traveled to speak on creative branding via social media, via press releases, whatever type of marketing medium you want. There's a really cool way to tap into these creative outlets. Okay. So I mentioned I started my company in 2008. That's also the year that I learned what last one hired, first one fired meant. Working for a company. I was a product marketing manager for a healthcare company in Chicago and they had never had layoffs in their history. They always had a pretty good handle on managing their debt and everything else, but when they did do layoffs, they cut sales, training, and marketing all together. So I was wondering, how are you guys going to make money? You let go of everybody. But I guess that wasn't my problem. That's what they decided to do. So there were a lot of coworkers of mine that were very upset. There were a lot of coworkers who were very upset. They were going straight to unemployment. They were standing in lines and just like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I have a mortgage. What's going to happen? I didn't really get stressed out like that because I had a feeling it was coming. I saw what happened in September, and by December I knew layoffs were coming. So I actually started plotting in the back of my mind. I was going to create something new. Because I know if there are a bunch of marketing people who are all going to be out on the street, there are going to be companies that are going to need marketing, but they can't afford to hire them full time. They may want to have them contract. They may want to have them do special projects. And I'm fine with that. So it was really interesting. One of my coworkers is here, Kristen, and I'm married to her brother. So we had been married 1 week shy of a year when I got laid off. And I was going to go to him and say, I want to create my own little branding marketing thing, but this is going to be difficult. So I made dinner first. This is the first thing I did. I made dinner, I made dessert, and I served it. And I waited till he had like mouthfuls of food. And I said, hey, I know you love this whole dual income thing we've had going on for about the past year or so, but I don't think I want to do that anymore. I think I want to start my own company. They're going to give me severance, just a little bit, but I won't touch our savings. And if it works out, I won't go get a real job. What do you think? And he said, yeah, sure. So I took that as a yes. And I started my own firm that year. One thing that I also noticed was there were going to be individuals who would get hired in new companies and let go as well, because there were other companies that were kind of riding the ebb and flow of the whole industry as well. So there were some companies that hadn't laid off, or they were laying off in stages. So you may know people, or you may have had this happen to you. You were hired and then let go 6 months later, then hired again and then let go again. I knew it was going to get a lot worse before it got better. However, I was pretty lucky because I have the background in brand marketing. I used to be a brand marketing manager for Kraft Foods. So I worked on brands such as Nabisco, DiGiorno, Minute Rice. Come on in. What else did I work on? Lifesavers, a ton of different brands. So I understood not only how to do something creatively for a business, but how to run the business on the back end. And everybody who was working, they were going to get frustrated looking for jobs and getting laid off. And eventually they're going to say, screw this, I'm going to go start my own company. But they don't have the traditional marketing background or business background to know what keeps it running. And inevitably they would spend money on the wrong things and potentially fail at what they were doing, which was really sad because there were some great ideas out there. So I started writing this series of books. It's basically a plan B, how to structure your brand appropriately before you do the wrong things that cost a lot of money and then you get totally frustrated about everything. So that's my story. So quick question for everybody. We're going to talk about creativity this morning. And I want to know, what do you think makes somebody creative in any form or fashion?
Like what qualities do they have? Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
Okay.
Tough question, right?
The ability to associate different things together.
Different things, like two unlike things?
Or there might be two like things. It
Or
just, you know, it depends how creative you are.
Okay. It's like a recursive definition,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, you like that? Right.
Anybody else? Yes?
I think there's a certain, I don't know if you would call it confidence or not being afraid to look like an idiot for saying something new that nobody has thought of before.
Very cool. Awesome. You bet, yes.
Like thinking up stuff that no one else does. That's what I was trying to.
Or something that you've seen before, but not in that manner.
Yeah.
Out of the box.
Out of the box. So, or there is no box. I've seen that before too. Awesome.
Being innovative.
Being innovative. Very good. Well, usually when it comes to talking about creativity, we're also talking about the brain today. We're going to be unlocking the potential of your brain as far as how creative you already are. You were born creative. You just may not know in which manner you are creative. We're going to do a very quick exercise. So has everybody heard left brain creativity, right brain creaity. So some people are really good at analytical stuff versus creative things. Okay, so there are a ton of tests out there. I'm going to show you one question that's very popular from these tests. So everybody take a look at the screen.
Yeah.
In which direction is this dancer turning? Right.
Clockwise.
Whoa. Okay, if you see her spinning clockwise, raise your hand. Clockwise, okay. If she's spinning counterclockwise, raise your hand. Who sees her spinning both ways? A couple of people? All right, awesome. Very interesting. For people who answered clockwise, can you potentially see her spinning counterclockwise? Like you
It already
close your
happened.
eyes.
I can't see it the other way now.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, awesome. So let me break down what this means. This is just one question out of a battery of maybe 80 that you would take if you're trying to see what type of creativity you have. So if you said she was spinning clockwise, you are a left brain creative. So here are a couple of the things that we can use to describe you if you're left brain. You use a lot of logic in making decisions. You're very good at math and science. You're pretty good at perceiving orders and patterns. You form strategies, and you're more practical. You usually go with the safe bet. So anyone that saw her spinning clockwise, would you say this pretty much identifies you? In a couple of minutes. Okay, cool. If you saw her spinning counterclockwise, you're closer to a right brain creative. And here are a couple of words that describe you. You use more feeling when you come to make decisions. You believe in people when they tell you stuff. You're like, okay, I believe you. You're more trusting of others. You present possibilities. You may be a little bit impetuous, so you're kind of, you jump in with both feet without thinking through what you're doing. Sometimes happens. And you're more likely to take risks. So anyone who saw her spinning counterclockwise, so you say, this kind of fits you? Oh, yeah. All right, awesome. So if you saw her spinning both ways, you're probably a mixture of both as well. And that's okay. So knowing, I just gave you my full professional story. I told you I worked for Kraft. I worked as a brand marketing manager, so I get profit and loss as well as the creativity. I'm an author. I teach. What do you think I saw? Do you think I saw her spinning clockwise or counterclockwise?
I think you saw
Both.
Both? Left brain, right brain, both? Well, I'm actually almost even. So I took one of these exams and I always fall within plus or minus 3 on either side. So even if I try to throw the test, try to see if I can answer them just to be funny, I always wind out about even, which is pretty cool. So I can see her spinning both ways. If you're interested in taking a snippet of the test, this is a link you can go to. It's free. We all like free. So you can see that link there. So anybody who saw her spinning clockwise?
Go back.
Yes. Write it down. Got it?
No, sorry.
Okay.
And this test, is it a pretty long one?
No, it takes about 5 minutes.
Oh.
Yeah, there's about 10 questions. Okay. All right, I'm going to go ahead and move on. Okay. So if you saw the dancer spinning clockwise or you're more left brain dominant, you want to be careful because using our left brains, thinking more rationally, they actually create structures that can act as barriers to creating creative solutions or perspectives. So it may be harder to, if you're working in a group or a team, to see other people's point of view when working on something because you feel that you know what you want to do. Or it may help you, it may hurt you from seeing out of the box and seeing other things that can be creative solutions to a very common problem. So we want to be careful for people who are more left brain creative. So what do you think? Is creativity a left brain or a right brain thing, in your opinion?
That's a false dichotomy.
False dichotomy, awesome. So you say maybe it's a whole brain thing? Awesome. Yes, you should use your entire brain when coming up with creative decisions. So don't forget to think rationally, but also leave yourself open to the possibility of coming up with something really creative. All right? Just as I explained here with my book, I was creative enough to know that I wanted to write a series of books to help people, but the thought process behind it was I'm going to help them build their businesses from the start so that when they become a huge company, they'll remember me from the start and they'll look to me to do their marketing and creativity planning. Okay? So now that we understand creativity, I'm going to take you a step further. So imagine you're at the bungee jump facility. I'm going to push you over so that you actually jump.
Oh.
No fear, no fear. I'm going to take you into what's called divergent thinking. It's not like the movie. I've been doing this presentation for over a year, so I had the idea long before. So you can think of it as creativity is having something that makes people say, oh, that was cute. You know, like if you see a commercial, you're like, hey, that was a cute idea. Whereas divergent thinking is taking you that extra step to say, that was really cool. I'm going to go buy that. I really like what they did there. They put a lot of thought into it. So divergent thinking is on a whole different plane than creative thinking. Hello, come on in. And if you're interested in making sure that your business has staying power for many years, or being a leader in your industry, especially when it comes to social media, you have to figure out what type of divergent thinker you are. And there are 4 types. You may fit into one, you may fit into all 4, or a mixture of some. So I'm going to go through each of the 4 categories, or the 4 ingredients that you need for divergent thinking. Okay. There are pictures of 4 people on this slide. Can you identify all 4 of them? Maybe we'll start with the obvious one. Who's this guy? Steve Jobs. Okay. How about this guy in the corner? Einstein. Awesome. Do you know the lady underneath him? Any fashionistas in here? Yes, that's Coco Chanel. And how about this lady at the top? Nope. This is the poet laureate Nikki Giovanni. So, kind of a mixture of people. Science, computers, fashion, and literary prose. What do they have in common? These 4 thinkers are at the top in their field for divergent thinking. They represent each of the four terms. So I'm going to go into detail about which ones they represent and why, and then we'll do a fun activity or challenge at the end of each one. Okay? We'll start with Steve Jobs, and we'll talk about fluency. This is the first type of divergent thinking. So many people wouldn't consider Steve Jobs to be a creative. He was more of a techie, a geek. He worked with computers, kind of had a little bit of an attitude, but he knew he was the best, so he went along with the territory. He had a little bit of an ego. But many of us still use a lot of his technology today, if not the ideas that he came up with. So he was able to take technology into a new realm that allowed us to change the way that we thought about doing normal things in life. When they came out with the iPod, people said, why in the world would I want to keep 5,000 songs on my person at any given time? That's not necessary. I have CDs. I have cassette tapes. That's been working fine for me. Why do I want all of them? But the creativity behind how he thought allowed him to show other people how to think divergently, how to try something different, and how to promote it in such a way that people became very interested in that. So he made fruit and computer technology mesh. If anyone had an iMac when they were red, blue, yellow, and green, really tapped into the target audience he was looking at as far as educators. They wanted colors, kids like those, and that translated into a whole generation of people who love Apple. So I'm going to show you a quick presentation from a TED Talk that he did a little bit before he passed away. And one person in the audience asked him, why do you do this every day? What keeps you going? Because it's very hard in your industry. So let's play this.
Wondering what would be the single most valuable piece of advice you would give us to even attempt to create some of the value that you guys have done through very impressive companies. People say you have to have a lot of passion for what you're doing, and it's totally true. And the reason is because it's so hard that if you don't, any rational person would give up. It's really hard, and you have to do it over a sustained period of time. So if you don't love it, if you're not having fun doing it, you don't really love it, you're going to give up. And that's what happens to most people, actually. If you really look at the ones that ended up, being successful, unquote, in the eyes of society, and the ones that didn't, oftentimes it's the ones that are successful loved what they did so they could persevere when, when it got really tough. And the ones that didn't love it quit because they're sane, right? Who would want to put up with this stuff if you don't love it? So it's a lot of hard work, and it's a lot of worrying constantly. And if you don't love it, you're going to fail. So you got to love it. You got to have passion.
Pretty powerful, right? How many of us go through our daily work, working with clients, building our marketing plans, and we're like, oh, this is so hard. I just want to sit in my closet and drink red wine all day. Okay, good. It's not just me. So we have a lot of challenges. So you really want to make sure whatever you do, you want to be the best at it, and you have to have passion for it. That passion is going to come out in your creativity and showcase your divergent thinking. So I'm going to do a quick activity with all of you. And I'll preface this by saying this is something Steve Jobs could figure out in a couple of seconds. So don't feel bad if this is not something that you can do. Kristen has index cards. If everyone does not have an index card, raise your hand.
Thank you.
Okay, everybody set? All right, here's your first challenge to see if you are a fluent divergent thinker. How can you cut a hole in a 3 by 5 inch card that is big enough for you to fit your head through? It is not a trick question. So take a look at your card. See if you can come up with ideas. I have 2 pair of scissors up here. If anybody would like to come up and try it, come on. Oh, you can try it.
I don't have to try it yet. I don't know if I have my folds properly.
Okay. You want to try it? Or no, you're taking pictures.
My special friends.
Not to make you feel bad, but I did have a 5th grader who was able to do this very quickly.
Thanks.
Sorry.
They didn't have 40 more years ahead.
I'll try.
Want to come up? I'll give you a pair of scissors.
Oh, the story dice. I have the story dice at home.
Do you? They're
My
awesome.
daughter got them for Christmas. They're so much fun.
Okay. Go ahead and try.
See, I keep on saying, well, I don't want to. This is it.
Yeah.
There, all right.
There you go. So you're not going to make it
No holes.
I'm thinking.
We don't need no sneaking holes.
There you go. I don't need my hand through a 3 by 5.
That's
All
right.
right, that's your practical outline.
My thinking is done. Right.
You should be able to turn it into a
Got it
wax
wrong.
paper. But I can't think of a spatial relationship to it. I've got the concept, but I don't have the spatial relationship to the spatial thinker.
Okay.
And that's not you. You're too stuck on the practicality.
I like how you turn your back so the audience can't see.
Make you have it.
But you're on the right track.
There's
something wrong with that.
there you go. There's some practical thinking that applies here. What's the definition of a whole? As applies to head.
Okay.
I have a really big head, though. That might work against me.
All that hair is going to get your way.
Yeah.
Sure. Now wait, now cut a hole implies one cut. So your instructions.
Does it?
Well, that's your.
If the goal is to put my head through an index card, I'm not sure how instructions are going to help.
There is that point. Ignore the instructions.
The instructions are the left brain barrier to getting something.
You got it.
I like the speaker who puts a barrier between me and the solution. I like that.
Well, I'm just glad everybody's doing something.
You have the right idea
broke
too,
it.
but I think yeah.
Just saying. These should stay connected together. But I can't figure out how to make the connector part go. I can fit it through Barbie's head.
Very close. You're on the right track too. Gotta put put it together.
Yeah.
Pretty close. Pretty close. So do you want to tell everybody what you did? How you cut your index card?
I just started and wound my way through.
So there is a way to do that. If you cut concentric circles, meaning you start your cut going this way and then go from the inside out, you can actually peel it apart and put it over your head. So you cut from the wrong direction, but you were on the right track. So don't worry. And then, I'm sorry, what was your name here?
Megan.
Megan. So Megan, how did you cut?
How did I cut?
Oh no.
I was like, were you talking to me?
Oh no. Sorry, this Megan. How did you cut your index card?
I was going and I only did one code. Yeah, I've got eyeballs. I started going this way. I didn't figure out that I had to work my way back around.
Yeah.
That was where I got mixed up because it kept creating the middle part that I couldn't get past. But now I've got lovely eyeballs.
So that could have worked. I saw where you were going, but does everybody want me to show you how to do it so that you can amaze people at home? Okay, so same 3x5 index card everyone have. I'm going to fold it in half this way. And then I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut not all the way through, but partially through on each end. Everyone see that? Now I'm going to cut away the center inside edge. So if I open this up, technically I have cut a hole in the index card, but it's not big enough to fit my head through. So now what I'm going to do is cut alternating slits in the index card, going all the way through. And if I peel it apart very gently, and I have a little head, so maybe this will work. Oh, I broke it, but it would fit. So that's how we'll do it. So here's the step-by-step. Cut it like so. Cut across the middle. Slits. Open it up and fit through. Got it? So for Megan and I didn't catch your name in the back. The other young lady. Me? Came up. Yes. Sheila. I'm going to give you both a sticker. You put it on your badge or wherever to say that your strength is fluency because you both got pretty close. So that's going to be helpful for the final challenge. You might want a fluent thinker on your team. All right. Okay, so here's the next one. The next form of divergent thinking is originality. And this is Nikki Giovanni. So I mentioned she's a poet laureate. She also teaches at the University of Virginia. I think she teaches in the English department. Very well known for her poetry, her prose, and she's in her 80s, I think, either late 70s, early 80s. So what makes her original? Even though she has all of the accolades, the awards, and everything in the world, she still decides to teach and get paid just a little bit. She doesn't get paid a whole lot. But she is an original thinker where she's not afraid to express her mind, which is very important when it comes to divergent thinking and creativity. So you all may have heard of the shooting that happened at Virginia Tech a few years ago on Valentine's Day. She actually knew the student that shot in the auditorium, and she had a premonition. She had a feeling that he wasn't quite right long time before he did that. She was teaching him in one of her intro poetry classes, and the work that he'd submitted was very, she described as dark, disturbing, and just, it wasn't right. And she went so far as to talk to the English department and said, I don't want this student in my class because I'm not comfortable with him. I think he needs counseling or something. And the English department told her, you can't kick a paying student out of class. You know, they're paying tuition, they get to go to whatever classes they want to for a degree. You can't do this. But she felt so strongly about this, she was willing to step down and quit her job if they did not remove the student from her class because she had that type of premonition. And eventually they reassigned him, and then 2 months later they had that massive shooting. So she wasn't surprised. So does anyone ever get, I know it's a really deep story, but does anyone ever get that feeling where they just know you're on the right path, you know this is a really good idea, I'm going to move forward with it? Don't ignore that. Don't ignore that because you could be very similar to Nikki Giovanni. So I'm going to play another short video of her being interviewed at a poetry event in Aruba.
So much of it is personal and emotional, and you still continue to burn with the passion of the 60s and 70s of justice and social commentary, and you continue that tradition, and so many African Americans and others no longer write that way, you know. So, and I don't want to, you know, criticize what other people write. I am a part of a tradition that goes all the way back actually to Phyllis Wheatley. Because Miss Wheatley, some people have been upset, but she's going to ask, you know, who sold me and who bought, if you look at the selected poems of religion, you know. And of course, we're here in the Caribbean, and one of the great Caribbean writers, John McCabe, you know, If We Must Die. So, you know, I mean, we have many, many others. But the tradition says that we need to speak for our people, and we do that through whatever voice that we have. But it's what I believe, so it's not... It's not an issue with me that, oh my goodness, I need to speak for my people. Any artistic life that has any meaning, and we also find out, because we've had so many frauds, any truth. You know, if you look at, Oprah got caught a couple of times on so-called memoirs that were just lies. But you have to ask yourself, who really cares? I mean, your life is personal and private. It's not your life, it's your thoughts and what you do for the public good. And that's where the truth is going to come from. And I think a lot of young writers buy into I mean, they look at TV or whatever they're looking at, and they're thinking, oh, I want to be rich, so I want to write a book. I don't think you get rich writing books, and so I'm not rich, and I write books.
So if you caught a couple of things that she said, she makes decisions and does things because she follows her heart, not because they're popular, not because they're what are accepted. So as you're going through your company and creating ideas and making decisions, don't do it just because it's popular, do it because you think it's right. Okay? So let's see if you can decode these messages. This is the originality exercise. If anyone is familiar with word jumbles and things of that sort, you probably are really good at this. So let's see, can you decode the first word? Hungry, very good. Second one?
Family.
Family, very good. Third word?
Calcium.
Calcium, very good. You didn't look at this, did you? What about the fourth word?
Vendor.
Vendor, very good. And the last word? Calendar. Awesome. All right, Kristen. So you're gonna get an originality sticker. Who else figured out the majority of these? Anybody else pretty good? I heard this gentleman over here, you picked up a couple. Maybe. Yeah. Yeah, I'll give you one too.
Give him a sticker.
Anybody else? Everyone was kind of like, I don't know. I know you picked up one too.
You should get a sticker.
Do you want a sticker?
No, ma'am.
You might be on the team too. All right, cool. All right, there you go. Here's the third form, flexibility. To be a flexible divergent thinker, such as Albert Einstein, you see that pretty early on in life. So he was already credited as a genius before he came up with the E equals MC squared formula. He also said, if you can't explain something simply, you don't understand it well enough. Yeah. I agree with that totally. So when you see people talking about stuff online or they're trying to go through these really long blog posts, probably don't understand it well enough because they have to talk at length about it. So you want to find people that can explain things succinctly, quickly, and maybe you might not have all the pieces that you need together to describe something, but if you can do it simply, people will understand you quickly. So one of the things that I like to do, and this is your challenge for flexibility, is to do a brand logo test. This is one of the things that I do in a brand strength test when a brand new company comes in to show them why their logo is working or not working for them. So I'm going to flash a couple of logos on the screen here, and there will be pieces missing from them. So it may be the logo, words are missing, or maybe pieces of the logo are gone. So I want to see how many you can recall very quickly. If you're good at this, you're probably a flexible thinker as well. Okay? So what logo is this?
Apple.
Apple. All right, good.
Girl
Girl
Scouts.
Scouts.
Yay! I like Girl Scout cookies.
Wikipedia.
Very good.
JCPenney.
Awesome.
Twitter.
That's not the logo anymore, though.
I know they're changing it. They already changed it.
Hallmark.
Very good. That's Rolex. Hallmark, their prongs on the 1st and 5th here are a little bit lower. That's Rolex. So you must have some money back there.
American Airlines.
No, Continental or United. Yep.
Great.
Awesome.
Merrill Lynch.
Ooh, investment accounts, huh?
Atari.
Oh, that's
Stella.
Stella.
Very good. Stella.
I knew it was her brain. It's embarrassing. General.
Very good.
Levi's.
Levi's, right?
Warner Brothers.
Very good.
Time Warner now.
Whatever.
Is that nine?
This is kind of an emerging logo. This is Deutsche Bank. They're a bank that's starting to expand across the nation.
That's the new logo.
Firestone. Very good.
Tommy
Very
Hilfiger.
good.
Is that wool? The wool.
Samsonite.
Very good. Samsonite. It's the Owen Samsonite.
Southwestern Bell.
Southwestern Bell. If you were from Chicago, you'd probably say Illinois Bell or Ameritech or AT&T. It all became the same thing.
Attendees.
Yes, very good. I was like, where are the camera people? Tulsa. Yes, very good. I stumped you.
Corona.
Yes, very good. It's a
I
tiny
redeemed
crown.
myself.
It's a tiny crown
Oh, that's
on
funny.
the Corona bottle.
Oh, I give you that. Yeah.
So how did you all do? You did pretty good with the logos. Everybody's pretty good for flexible thinking.
That's so interesting. I like that.
They're all done in their competitors.
They're all done in their competitors.
Yeah.
So you've seen these logos long enough to know that something's wrong with these instantly. It doesn't take long to pick this up. So when you're a flexible thinker, you're also very good at thinking consistently. So you're able to see if anything is out of place very quickly. So that's great. So I think we have a lot of flexible thinkers in the room. Let's just pass this around. Should I just pass these around? All right. Chris is going to get started passing those. If you have one of those, you can put the sticker on you or your badge. You just keep track of that. All right. And we're ready to go on to the final form of divergent thinking, which is elaboration.
I share first.
You share first, that's very
That's
good.
what I do. Yeah, I was taught that.
Your grandma did that.
All right, so we'll talk about elaboration as we talk about Coco Chanel. So, you know, she's one of the premier fashion designers even today. And she was known for doing things just to be extra. So as you see in the picture, this was taken in the 20s. She's wearing how many? 7 or 8 strands of pearls. Nobody did that before her. They wore like maybe 1 strand. You might see a choker, but she wore different layers, different lengths, and she's also the woman who came up with the shoulder bag for women, the little black dress. Yes, definitely. So she knew a lot about fashion and also functionality. So people who are elaborate thinkers are very good about coming into a room and seeing things that are out of place. So if you ever had those games where you would see one picture and then another picture, you have to figure out what was missing, what was different, those are elaborate thinkers. They can pretty much identify that quickly. Okay?
One of these things is not like the other.
That's right.
Ooh, there's an age test.
Uh-oh.
And for Chanel, my favorite quote that she ever said was, in order to be irreplaceable, one must always be different. I love that quote. Even in this picture, you can see she's wearing tons of pearls. She has them draped across her back, so that was really different for the 20s as well. And a lot of people are starting to wear dresses and things like that now, but she was the originator. All right. So here's your elaboration exercise. As you can see here, there's a grid filled with hearts, diamonds, clubs, and spades. Some of these images are inverted, but it's done for a purpose. There is one field that is empty. Does anybody know what should be in that empty field and why?
Club.
Okay, I hear club. Anybody else?
Oh, well, maybe not. No, wait a second. Should be.
Both the club and diamond is also in that row. Diamond.
Yeah, I hear diamond and I hear club.
Who doesn't pick one? I think everyone's got one.
Okay, so I've heard a club and a diamond so far. Any reason, rationale why that would fit?
I'm saying because it's a flip.
Because it's what? I'm sorry.
It's the flip.
Okay.
Well, but it.
It was a square, I don't know why. I can't explain why.
That's a spade.
That fits your brain.
It could be upside down club over since there's nothing for there's only like 2 things.
You gonna say a diamond? Okay, anyone who says a diamond, raise your hand. Who says a heart? Anybody for heart? Anybody for a spade? Couple spades. Anybody for clubs?
Okay, we'll stick up for the clubs because that's.
For clubs? Okay. It is a club, but it's an inverted club.
Whoa, I got it, Mom. I got it. See, you got it.
You said it was.
It's an inverted club. Why? We're looking at patterns again here. So anytime you have a heart that is going the right way, there's an inverted club next to it. So as you see here, here, not that one, here. So an inverted club would go right there. Got it? Did anybody get it right? I think you got it right. You did? Okay. So I'm going to give you both elaboration stickers. So you don't want one.
I do want one.
Okay. Okay, this lady right here. Awesome. Okay. So these were the 4 types we just went through: originality, flexibility, fluency, and elaboration. After looking at all 4 of those, which ones do you think you lean to most commonly? I know a couple of you have a few stickers, not just one. You might have 2 or 3. Does anyone have a favorite to lean toward? Flexibility, probably. All right, it's going to come in handy for the final challenge. What we're going to do is play a game.
That sounds awfully fun. I know that shit.
Thank you. All right, so I know a couple of you have seen these before. Does anyone else know what these are? Have you used them before?
Story cues.
These story cues? Yeah.
Story starters.
Those are so much fun. They are. Rory's story cues. This is a game that was made for kindergartners. Kindergarten teachers to help children be able to use their imagination to create really unique stories. So you can open them up, it's like a little box, and inside there are 9 die, and instead of dots to identify the number, there are faces on each side of the die. What we use these for is to create pretty unique stories about you, your business, or conference that you're at. So I'd like everybody to form a team of 4, if possible. Now there are some people, that have
I know this.
a couple of stickers. They may be really good to use on your team. So kind of look around at the badges of everybody.
We're not lucky.
The ladies are so good. The lady got blonde. She figured out the first thing quick. And that lady from the Elaboration thing too.
And then we can just like claim this spot.
Are you guys playing or you are?
Is it alright?
We felt like a hostess speaker at their table.
No, we're the rebels.
I think I'll need some extra copies. Okay, I'll be right. I'm going to get you some extra copies. Let me explain what I'm going to do here.
Well, we can write it.
Or unless you want to combine space, you want to join them? Okay.
We can wing it.
Okay.
Well, here's where we can see it.
We're flexible.
Okay.
Yeah, we're flexible.
Hey, wait.
There you go.
Miss really not that on it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give each table a set of story cubes.
You know, it's gonna be a long ride.
Okay, so each table pick a captain. That will be the person responsible for rolling the die for you. So you take them out of the pouch. You can take them out of the pouch and roll them out on the table.
Wait, we might need to over that. So randomly pick one.
Yeah, how many do you need? Oh, nice.
Just take some of the kids.
Roll them out.
Roll all?
Roll all of them.
Okay.
So once you roll them out, you can use the page in front of you to circle the ones that landed face up for you.
Alright, we have
What's your style?
Letter L.
Okay.
Make a list.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
I did say you feel like we're just there. TV.
There it is.
Monster.
The arrows on the top right, the longer you get that.
Old fashioned phone. It says silver.
Missing the house.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. I was looking for the words every time rather than the images.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the final step. Here's the final step. Now, okay, now that we have all of the pieces together, here's your assignment. Everybody create a story. I would like everybody to create a 30-second commercial about why they came to SMTULSA and how it's going to benefit them by using the items that you rolled out as keywords in your presentations.
Oh, okay.
Okay, are we doing this as a group? This is our group story?
That is your group. Yeah,
This is our group
Oh, this is
I like the rainbow.
People
start bugging me for not
Actually, it bugs me
that our process before we that's good. I was like, well, I don't think realize we can build relationships.
Fluency. You gotta figure out how to get this. Hold it. Cut it. Put it around. Cut it. Or you cut it around. Cut it that. And spin it over. And then there was no, she had 2 things. About to
Say it again.
you cut around like, have a thing come down. Like that. Over here.
In your field.
Okay, so explore, connect, share, inspire. Oh, yeah.
If you give a manifest.
Let me make this work again. Man, I broke the first one.
Oh, okay. Make it go. Okay. That's like my ribbon. My hair ribbons, and I was like, what? It's like something made out of ribbon? I don't know.
No.
Okay. You're saying over your head.
Or like being in your shell.
I have no doubt my team will
We already won.
Yeah, where's my light?
Just start at the very beginning. I just wrote down everything they do. And the red get them started.
Just move that.
Hello, Daddy.
I was like, we don't have
That's like self-voice prayer. We could totally play it.
Are you guys ready? All right, last table. Are you guys ready? No.
Almost.
All right, so we have just about everybody completed. Who wants to go first? Present for their group.
We will totally go first.
You'll go first?
All right.
Okay. Come on up to the front. You can have one reporter. Everybody can come up. I don't care.
No, but I missed some of it, so.
Okay. So you can bring your page up, let everybody know what you rolled, and then you can give us your 30-second commercial. I'm not circling something. Okay, so this is Megan, everybody. All right, Megan, what did you roll?
See. Sorry.
Last minute.
Forgot the first one. We rolled apple, question mark, rainbow, bug, book, flower, arrow, lightning, and sheep. So, here is our group story. We were tired of following the social media herd. People kept bugging us with questions about social media. And even though books are wonderful, we can't learn everything from books. So we came to SMTULSA. We were struck like lightning with original ideas. Like an arrow through an apple, we are ready to hit our targets. And these seeds of knowledge will grow like flowers into a rainbow of flexibility, originality, fluency, and elaboration. Awesome. Very good.
All right, so that was table 1. Who wants to go next?
I just overheard
Not
that.
everybody at once. Anybody?
Okay,
You'll go? Okay.
Ready? Oh, all right.
We're gonna hold it.
All right.
But oh, you're not. You guys are not.
No.
Thanks, Doug. You got my back.
I'm supporting from here.
All right. Okay, so this one's visual, so I'll tell them as I go. This is the shadow monster. Some people are scared of all things social and digital. Some people are digital natives. That's the cell phone and the TP. Some people are afraid that they slept through the revolution and they missed it all. And so, lots of together for lots of different reasons. We've come together to explore, that's the bridge. Connect, that was the business card. I can't believe there's a business card and a set of story cubes for kindergartners, but there is. We're going to share, that's the flower. We're going to inspire, that's the letter L. We had trouble with how do you get inspire out of letter L, but that's love, learn, and laugh, Doug said, and so we are with that. And finally, we are going to get social. That's why we're here. We stole the tagline right off of Cheryl's shirt before she left.
Very good.
All right.
All right, so that was table 2. Who wants to go next?
We'll go next.
Okay.
Okay.
Good job.
Oh, great. Now I mixed my things up. Oh, sorry. Okay, we had a sad face, a lightning bolt, a lock, a keyhole, a flashlight, a shadow monster, a light bulb, a pyramid, and a moon. So our story is we were sad when we looked at our social media accounts. So we were struck by lightning with an idea to unlock our potential and shine some light on our social media so we wouldn't be the scary shadow monster of the internet. So, like a light bulb, we learned how to build relationships like a pyramid. And now we love social media to the moon and back.
Aw, that was good.
All right, table 3. Okay, so we have 2 more tables left. Either of you want to
Girl, you got it.
Shine, assistant, shine.
Okay, we got apple, letter L, cane, turtle, light ball, fountain, castle, and fish.
Okay. So from that we got social media can make you feel like you're in a shell. So we came to SMTULSA to learn and get support from the hive of people buzzing and flowing with ideas about technology teaching us how to fish so we can feed our own creativity to become masters in our fields.
Very good. All right, the last table here.
All right, here we go. We're running out of time though. All right, I'm new. And so we had house, moon, airplane, parachute guy, eye, arrow, fountain, shadow monster, and the magnet. So here we go. Early in the morning when the moon was still out, we left our houses and came to SMTULSA to learn many things. Some of us came here by airplane and parachute man. And we opened our eyes and followed the arrows to different sessions and learned lots and lots. And we drank lots of water from the water fountain because we were thirsty. And we were so glad there were no shadow monsters here. And we were drawn like magnets to the Girl Scout cookies.
Awesome, table 5. Okay, so we'll do this Apollo style. If you can give me your best applause for the table that you liked the best, that would be great. So table 1 was right here. Okay, table 2 in the back.
Yeah!
Okay, table 3 was back here. Table 4 here in the front.
Yeah!
And then table 5 back here. Yeah, I think we're going to go with table 1 was the best one. All right, I'm going to give you all copies of my book.
Oh my gosh,
I'm happy to sign them for you.
Yes,
Later
yes.
on. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I am floored.
I do have additional copies if others would like copies of the book.
How much are your books?
The books are $19.95 or 2 for $15 or 2 for
It's like
$2.25.
Yeah, all right.
Sorry,
She said it.
that's not my strength. So.
Yeah,